Okay, good evening and a warm welcome to all our viewers. It is such an honor and excitement that you have joined the cryptocurrency talk with the crypto trio. I need to make a disclaimer. We are not financial advisors, neither are we tax consultants, but we are just individuals who are cryptocurrency enthusiasts. And we have dedicated ourselves to talking about cryptocurrencies just so that we can increase adoption as well as demystify any myths that exist around this subject. So my name is Portia Geta, and I'm based in Soweto. But I am not alone. Like I said, it's Crypto Trio. I am with my partners, Maggie Muluzi, who is based on the west end of Johannesburg, and Mr. Mohale, his first name being Sibonelo, who is based in Kingdom of Eswatini. So we come here every Wednesday at 6:30 just to talk all things cryptocurrencies. We are not here to sell you anything. We just want to share with you what we know around the cryptocurrency subject. Now, last week when we started, the question was, is Bitcoin a bubble that is waiting to burst? But clearly, from all the discussions that ensued between Maggie and Sibonelo, the conclusion was that Bitcoin is not a bubble. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, I heard that. What now? I have something else for you. I'm sure you've heard people saying Bitcoin is money, hey, it's digital money. Now, I want Sibonelo as well as Maggie to unpack for us whether Bitcoin is money. Can they answer that question? Is it true or is it false that Bitcoin is money? Maggie, as I hand over to you.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much, Portia. Let's just get to it. Is Bitcoin money? We're asking if Bitcoin is money, yet people are saying they want to join Bitcoin. People come to us and say, hey, I want to join Bitcoin. And we say to them, you can't join this thing. It is money. And they're thinking, what are they talking about? Are we correct in saying it's money? Well, we use money on a daily basis. Now we all know money. Oh, well, we think we know money. Okay, let's see what we know and what we don't know. Okay, but did you know that for something to qualify as money, it has to have a certain function. It has to perform, there are certain things that qualify something as money. So that is what we are going to measure Bitcoin against, Portia. So we're not going to make this thing up. We're just going to tell the facts. We know what money is. We're going to say what money is. All right, what qualifies something as money. And then we are going to measure Bitcoin against that. And then you can make up your mind and say true or false. Okay, just like there's functions of money, there's also properties of money. But today, Portia, because we only have 30 minutes, we'll just talk about the functions of money and then we'll do our part 2. So Sibonelo, my friend, let's unpack this thing, ne? Do you want to introduce yourself first? Maybe just say hi to everybody and then we can unpack this thing.
Yes, thanks, Megs. Good evening, everybody. And I'm excited to be part of this discussion. It's a short period, but we hope we are going to feed your soul. We are going to discuss things that are of interest to you. Let's continue, Megs.
Okay, so Sibonelo, you are a big advocate of cryptocurrency, of Bitcoin. Now you are going to answer this, help us to answer this question, right? So for something to qualify as money, it must satisfy what is expected of money. So let's help me out here. All right, so there are 3 functions of money. If there's more, you let me know, but I know of these 3 that I'd like us to unpack and see how Bitcoin fares against them. Right, number 1, store of value. Money must be a store of value. What does this mean?
Thanks, Max. I hope your connectivity improves, because it seems like it has got some glitches. And I think we have already introduced the subject that we need to address. And it's important that by the end of this short session, everybody is clear whether Bitcoin is money. That was a subject. Bitcoin is money. Is it true or false? And most of the time, people are leaning on saying Bitcoin is not money. Yes, and they are justified, because somehow, even if they did not learn it from somewhere, intuitively they believe Bitcoin is not money. Maybe before we even jump on the subject, Max, give me 2 minutes to recap on what we said previously, so that it informs what we are going to say right now. When we discussed last week, as we were decifying whether Bitcoin is a bubble or not, we say Bitcoin is new, number one. It is 12 years old. And number two, we said it is scarce in terms of the production, okay? And we also said it is a transferable digital good. That is what we said last week. It is created and it can be transferred from one person to the other. And we said it comes through a process called mining. That is how it is issued, which is similar to what we know as gold mining, diamond mining, all that. Only that when you talk about Bitcoin now, it is structured in terms of the design, how it's designed. There will only be a finite number of Bitcoins, 21 million. We also said it has got a predictable schedule of how it is issued. Those are the few things that we talked about on Bitcoin as a good, as a digital good, as a scarce digital good. Okay, but now does it qualify as money? That is the question. Yes.
So you mentioned all those things, and we said because of all those things, the price of Bitcoin that made people say it was a bubble was justified because of all the properties that you've said, right? It was designed to appreciate in value. So we are not surprised because we understand those properties that you mentioned about what Bitcoin is all about. So now, is it money? Transferable good, I hear, but is it money?
Yes, again, I will continue to say, I do not want to jump to say it's money, because people might not understand what exactly is money. What is this money? Just briefly, again, a minute. I just want to discuss briefly the origins of money, but it will be very, very short. Okay, so previously, we know that in the past, people did exchange goods. They did exchange value. How did they do that? Through what we call barter trade. Okay, so most of the time, most of us who are living in this age, we've been introduced in what we call monetary systems or financial systems. It's what we hear about. But the most important thing of that thing of incense is what we call the exchange systems. Before there is money, there's what we call exchange systems, whereby people do exchange value. Even before there was this money we are used to, the rands, people did exchange value. People did exchange things. Okay, so the foundation of everything is exchange. So before there was money, there was barter trade. People were exchanging value. But now there was inefficiencies with that, because each time there had to be that exchange, there was need for double coincidence of ones, meaning that if I've got an apple and you've got an orange, both of us must want what I hold and you must want what, yes, you understand that. So that coincidence of ones, so that introduced inefficiencies. Okay, so since people noticed that those inefficiencies, they started evolving. It's people who evolved first. They started saying, they started having desires of holding certain collectibles. By collectibles, I mean things that were valuable. Okay, these things will set them apart because these things were rare by their nature. And they had some symbolic value. These things could be shells, they could be animal teeth, those things, which now were no more the goods used in the barter trade. So it's people evolving. And having better desires of holding something special. Okay, so now we are talking about collectibles. If you were holding these collectibles, it made you a better person than your neighbor because you held something that was peculiar, something that was special, something that was treasured by the people. Okay, so now at that time, the ultimate purpose or function of the collectibles was solely to hold the value so that they could transfer the value at some point in time. Okay, so let us come to what you talked about, Max. You said money must have functions, and one of the functions is storing value. Okay, but what we are used to right now, we are going to discuss three functions. What we are used is money as as a medium of exchange, what we use for buying. But before that, you cannot exchange something. You cannot have a medium of exchange before we agree that this thing is valuable. So something first must be a store of value. What makes something to be a store of value then? It's when people are aware of this thing, number one. Many people are aware of it. And many people see that this thing is really peculiar, is really special. And then they say, okay, in our community, we can keep this thing to hold or to store our value. And so that in the future, we can transfer it from one generation to the other. Okay, so it starts with people, the community agreeing that yes, this is valuable before it can be a medium of exchange. So collectibles, previously we had gold. Gold started as a collectible. Why do I say that? Because initially it wasn't just used for trading, but initially it was used for ornaments. People were using it for jewelries and this and that. But then they saw, oh, this thing is rare, this thing is scarce. And in our community, we can actually use this thing to store our value. We can then use it as a medium of exchange. Okay. Yes. So you have asked me about store of value. Yes. Bitcoin now, look at it. Bitcoin was introduced 12 years ago. It had no value whatsoever, or it had no price attached to it. But now remember what I said at the beginning, it was structured. We knew there would be 21 million. So people got interest, a few people, and now that number kept on increasing, And as we speak right now, one Bitcoin is sitting at what? Is sitting at around 54,000 US dollars. It was 12 years ago, with $1, you could buy 1,309 Bitcoins, $1. I'm talking about this day, 12 years ago. With $1, you could buy 1,309 Bitcoins. But today, one Bitcoin will cost you 54,000 US dollars. Do you understand what is happening there? Many people each day are coming to an agreement. They are appraising Bitcoin. It's individuals, it's corporates. They are looking at this thing. Remember that we said Bitcoin falls under what we call monetary goods. They are looking at it. Okay, this thing has got good qualities. This thing is finite. This thing has got structure of issuance. It is better than what we know before. So it can really store value and it can be transferred in the future because it will be growing in its buying power. That's what it means to be a store of value from generation to another generation. So yes, Bitcoin feeds that first function of being a store of value.
Okay, so I'm not sure if people are convinced. Okay, so Bitcoin is a store of value. Use an example to show us that buying power could be transferred into the future by showing us that one Bitcoin in the past, $1 in the past could give you over 1,000 Bitcoins. But today, that $1, if you had put it there, you could transfer the buying power. It has moved along into the future and it's even having more buying power.
Exactly.
Okay, because yeah, I understand a store of value is something with the intent of using it in the future, and it must still have its value, right? So I hope people have got that. You can hold money in Bitcoin, and in the future, it still has its value or it's worth even more. So that qualifies it as a store of value.
Yes.
Okay, so it means that, okay, I got that. So are we happy? We've got people in the room, ne? I hope they are happy with this. So according to what Spanel has explained to us, Bitcoin ticks the first box. It's a store of value. It allows us to transfer buying power to the future. You keep it with the intent that in the future, it will still have value or have even, maintain its value or have even more. And it has proved itself as that in the past 12 years of its existence. Okay, so I'm happy, Spanelo. I'm happy. Now, we're saying that money, you touched on this as well, medium of exchange. That's where it all started, isn't it? As a medium of exchange. So does Bitcoin qualify? First of all, do you want to explain a bit more about the medium of exchange? Or are you happy with having explained it through the barter system and all? Just answer that one for us. Does Bitcoin now qualify as a medium of exchange?
Yes, Max, let me start again to say, remember that we said, once people agree that this is a store of value, we are happy to store our wealth into this thing, and it can take our wealth into the future so that we can even pass our wealth to the next generation. Then that particular thing, because it has gained the trust of the people, now can be used as a medium of exchange, meaning that you will be happy if you will sell me your car and I give you that particular good. Okay? So anything that people have agreed upon, and now it can be used in the exchange of value, whereby now I can acquire anything of interest, then that thing is called a medium of exchange. Coming to Bitcoin. Bitcoin, I said, number one, when I started, it's fairly new, 12 years old, okay? And it is still gaining some ground in terms of the people who understand it, the people who hold it, the people who believe in it, okay? So we are not yet there at the apex of it all. But we have seen over time that in a short space of time, there is a lot of people coming on board. And this has even pushed, which connects to what I said, it is a store of value. Now, it is a medium exchange to some degree. Remember that sometime this year, Tesla did come out to say, you can buy a car using Bitcoin. Okay, so what does that mean? It means that whosoever is holding that particular good can now use it to obtain some value out of it, can buy things out of it. Okay, so it is a medium of exchange to some degree. But has it established itself compared to fiat? Not as yet. But you could see the trend that since it has established itself as a store of value, the next thing that it is doing, it is establishing itself as a medium of exchange. Many merchants now can accept it in a way. So yes, Bitcoin does fit that bill.
And I mean, speaking to that as well as exchange, I mean, a medium of exchange, when you're talking about people have now established this as a store of value.
Yes.
And now the next level down is now establishing it as a medium, adopting it and agreeing that it's a medium of exchange. You spoke about Tesla, just talking about El Salvador. legalizing it as making it legal tender, meaning that you will be seeing that exchange using Bitcoin happening quite often, that medium of exchange with Bitcoin happening often, further emphasizing that it is going to come to a point where everybody else now also comes to an agreement that actually this is a medium of exchange. Okay. So
yes, Max, you are correct. Thanks for bringing that up. We are talking about countries now.
Mm.
Even Brazil, we learned yesterday that they were actually regulating Bitcoin. Soon it will be a legal tender in Brazil. So by legal tender, it means that you can use it to purchase. When you go to El Salvador, you can go to your eatery and buy whatever food. So it is becoming gradually a medium of exchange that we are agreeing on that it can be used. So we must understand and appreciate that this thing happens in stages and naturally. It can't just boom, happen all over just overnight. It is a process and we are embracing it. What is important is understanding the process and be part of the process so that you can gain out of the opportunity cost that comes there.
So are you saying that the jury is still out there as a medium of exchange, but that is not unusual? It is expected that it is going to be gradually moving in towards where everybody agrees without a doubt that this is actually money. You're saying that all the other forms of money that we have seen from the barter system, they actually went through the same process. They were first
100%.
established as a store of value. And they said, okay, we appreciate this thing. Maybe we can use this thing as a medium of exchange. All right, so, okay, no, I'm happy with that. And I hope it's settling well with everyone on that. So now, the final thing that we are going to look at today, remember our session is only 30 minutes long. So we are just going to be looking at the functions. And another thing is that money is supposed to be a unit of account, right? So it's like a price tag, something. So is Bitcoin, tell us about a unit of account and then can just go in and tell us if Bitcoin fits that.
Yes,
or is it still evolving towards getting there?
Yes, I am happy that we are having this discussion now, because any discussion that we make must be for the purpose of benefiting people. It mustn't just be for the sake of passing time. We are talking about progress here. We have already said Bitcoin has established itself as a store of value. There is no doubt about that. If wherever you go, we are saying it has covered good ground right now as a medium of exchange. We are seeing countries adopting it left, right, and center. When you talk about the South Americans, they are even moving faster than everybody else. Now, as a unit of account, this is the last stage of things, whereby we can price things, we can price goods using that particular money. Okay, so if you go to a particular store, you can find that this thing is priced using Bitcoin. It is 5 Satoshis, or it is 3, this house will cost you 3 Bitcoins. Okay, that is the last stage of money evolving and being of good use to people. Coming to Bitcoin, let us be honest. Up to now, we have heard many people saying, yeah, you can use a Bitcoin as a unit of account partially, very partially. What we are seeing right now is people quoting a particular object in dollars, but now equating it to, they are equating it to Bitcoin. Why are we saying it is not fully a unit of account? Because the moment the price of Bitcoin goes down, that merchant is going to ask more Bitcoin from you. It's not like it's fixed. Okay, so what we are saying, yes.
Hold on to that, Sponilo. It's very important, and it can lose people on this one. So saying if I go to a shop and I want to buy bread and I see that this loaf of bread is $5,
Yes.
I'm going to come back tomorrow. I'm going to give them $5. I'm going to come back the next day. I'm going to give them $5. As long as they have not changed the price of the value of bread, $5 it is. So
Yes.
that makes the dollar a solid unit of account.
Yes.
The rand, I can say about the rand, the pula, that is a unit of account. But Bitcoin is extremely volatile, right? So you're saying for that reason, it is now partially used. So people are, so they would say, you can give us $5 worth of Bitcoin.
Yes.
But today I could come with 1 Bitcoin. Tomorrow I could come with 2 Bitcoins because the value of Bitcoin keeps moving up and down.
Yes, we are right, Max.
All right.
So what
Go on, sorry.
So what we are saying is that these are 3 main functions or roles of money. But will they be achieved at the same time? No, because we must be realistic. And to help people take advantage of Bitcoin, they must understand where we are. Because opportunity only exists when you understand the journey. If you don't understand the journey, before you know, the opportunity will be over. So that's why I am as blatant as possible in terms of being truthful in this case to say, where are we? So we are clear about store of value. We are saying in terms of medium of exchange, we are there. We are seeing huge movements. But now, as a unit of account, it's not yet established, but we have seen the desire of people because there are certain stores that will give you the price in Bitcoin, but it is not yet locked. As we have said, if you are going to buy bread today, you know that it costs you 15 rands. Tomorrow you come back with 15 rands. But if you are going to use Bitcoin, possibly today, because it is sitting at 54,000, you'll be bringing lesser Bitcoin to buy the bread. Okay? So soon, because we see this thing, it has got their snowball effect. It has got that parabolic kind of rise in terms of adoption. Soon we are going to see things priced clearly with Bitcoin because we are seeing people coming in their numbers to the understanding of the power of this thing, which was initially just a collectible in 2009. In 2010, people were just collecting it. Nothing was happening around it. And people were collecting it in numbers in 2010 because it didn't have any price. See what it has done, what has happened over 12 years. Those who collected this peculiar thing in 2010 have seen it rising, thus establishing itself as a good store of value because it has risen from nothing to more than 50,000 US dollars as we speak, more than 700,000 rands, 1 Bitcoin. And then we have seen over time it established as medium of exchange. Countries are coming to the party. What is going to happen next? We are going to see it as a unit account in a few years' time. And the question is, would we have understood the journey? What would we have done with that journey? It's the reason we are discussing this. We are not selling anything, but we are just sensitizing people on this opportunity to say, understand the journey, ride on it. And if everybody is there, we are happy.
Wow. That is amazing. I don't know if everybody in here got that and is as excited as I am. I mean, wow. You know, I like the way you took us through it, Sibonelo. This collected, even before our time, you know, the idea of exchanging was always there because we did not always have everything. Somebody else had something that you wanted. And then came a time when things were collectibles. It was just seen as valuable, it was collected. And those who collected this thing, suddenly they saw that this thing was so valuable, it progressed from just being a collectible to being a store of value. And that is the amazing journey of Bitcoin. You know, now it's no longer just a collectible. 2010, okay, I've got Bitcoin. What does it mean? What does it mean? And then now it's a store of value. Everybody wants to get into this thing and then hold on to it. And then now we've got countries legalizing this as tender. So first store of value, tick, we gave Bitcoin. medium of exchange, tick. Those are the functions of money, by the way. Remember, the question is Bitcoin money? So we are measuring it against the functions of money. And Sibonelo said, we must remember it is a process. It is evolving through this thing. It might not qualify all of them at the same time, but we can, and the same happened with all the other things. It's not unique to Bitcoin. So now we are at the point where we are saying, as a unit of measure, it's still too volatile, but you do have people quoting it in their pricing, but they will base it on a stable unit of measure like your dollar, your pound, your rand. And then one day you will get to a time where it is solid and we said, this is 1 Bitcoin. And you'll come tomorrow, it's 1 Bitcoin. You know, but today it is just too volatile. But Sibonelo, I mean, in your own opinion, the fact that we got 2 out of 3, does that discount it as money? Does it say now?
Max, when you talk about Bitcoin, okay, let me start by saying the reason for this discussion was to help people see how things progress and how things move from collectible to eventually a unit of account or a unit of measure, okay? So now talking about Bitcoin, without a doubt, Bitcoin fits all these things. It fits store of value, it fits medium of exchange, it fits unit of account. It doesn't matter whether a particular supermarket as yet is pricing things using Bitcoin, but it is worth that, and it is what is going to happen. So for anybody who's here, for anybody who's going to see this discussion, must understand that these things are set on stone, that it is there. It's only that you still have the opportunity to be part. You know, there is a particular time whereby people have accumulated something and now the opportunity cost is no more there. Even if you go in, you are not going to benefit. So the reason we are discussing this today is so that you can benefit. We show you the opportunity that is there. Before it is fully recognized as a unit of account, you must realize that this thing is, yes.
Because if you wait for that time when it's realized as a unit of account, you are too late.
You are late.
You would not have benefited from being, you know, because now it's not being appreciated as such. Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying, but we haven't finished, right? Yes, you've spoken about the 3 functions, but there's still also properties that it must fit to say, okay, there's these properties, but we're going to look into that next week, Andrew, because we're out of time now. And we just made it. And thank you so much, Sibonelo, but the conversation is not over. The conversation is not over because we also want to measure Bitcoin just to get ourselves really at a point where we're saying, yeah, no, indeed, this thing is what is money. I've got no doubt, but I'd like to see how it measures as well against the properties of money, and then we can conclude the subject with a true or false. Okay, so it is looking very true right now, but let's see how it fares. That will be next week. So Sibonelo, now I'm happy. Portia, you asked the question. Are you happy with the answer?
So far, I'm very happy, and I'm looking forward to next week when we now dig deep into the properties and then we sum it all up. And then now we answer that question. Is it true? Is it false? But up to now, I'm very happy with what you have shared, and I am schooled all over again. This is why I love these sessions. Every time I learn something new, and hopefully our viewers are also learning something new, because this platform was created exactly for that, to just learn. Now, if you would like to know the applications or how you can tap into opportunities that are brought by this subject, follow us as on Thursdays, we've got a Zoom online meeting that tells you about opportunities that exist within the crypto space, as well as Sunday at 6 p.m. We also again let you in on how you can benefit from what we are talking about. But Wednesdays are purely for education. Thank you so much. That's all we had time for. We shall see you next week, Wednesday, when we continue with part 2 of whether or not Bitcoin is money, please do not miss part 2, 6:30 Wednesday. It's a date. Thank you. And
yes, Portia,
goodbye.
before you close, can I say something, Portia? It's
Sure.
very, very important for anybody or for people who are here to come next week. Why? Because we are going to show, as we conclude, why we think Bitcoin is even more sound money. We are going to list all the properties and now look at why this Bitcoin, we think it is sound and good money. So next week is a date and it's going to be very interesting.
I'm excited. I'm excited. But I think we still have maybe 5 minutes or so for anybody who probably thinking, I heard you guys, but I'm confused. What are you saying? Does anybody have a question with regards to the functions of money? And you can engage with us. Now, the session is over, but we are just here for a few minutes to engage with anybody who wants to ask questions, don't understand anything, you want us to clarify anything, please, the floor is open. We've got people on Facebook and we've got people in the Zoom session. So let me just go into my Facebook. In the Zoom session, if you've got questions, please do ask. We'll hang around for a few minutes. Or if you think this was valuable, you want to join in the discussion, you want to add something that we have missed. Yes, no.
Maggie, if I would like to add, people can also maybe tell us what sort of topics they wish us to talk about going forward.
Okay, yeah, yes, please. We've got a question on Facebook, Swanel.
Yes.
Are you able to buy and sell Bitcoin?
Most definitely. Bitcoin exists in markets. It is in markets. So you can buy, you can sell. Remember that we said it's a monetary good. So if it's a good, it means that you can buy and sell it. So we know that when you talk about money, money can be exchanged. Okay, there's what we call in what we know, there's what we call Forex. So it is Forex exchange. So even with Bitcoin, you can actually buy it, sell it. Yes.
Okay. Let me see if there's anything else. No, that's the only question we have on Facebook. Do we have anything in the room, in the Zoom room?
No, there's nothing on the chat box unless, okay. Okay, there's Mlungisi says, since I'm new here, I want to know how can I start making money from all this you're talking about. Mlungisi, it's a good question that you are asking. And that is why I said in closing, every Thursday at 8 p.m. and on Sunday at 6 p.m., that's where we unpack how you as an individual can actually benefit from this cryptocurrencies. So I think for tonight, we're not really at liberty to share that with you. And maybe you can inbox Maggie and she can share the details with you for when now to get the details of the next meeting where we will be unpacking how you can now benefit. Lungisi is happy.
Okay. Okay. Anything else? We've got almost, okay, Portia, I think we can close it off.
Thank you so much, everybody. See you next week. Like Sbonelo said, you have to be here to hear it firsthand, not so I hear. You should say, I heard that Bitcoin is or it is not money. See you next week, 6:30. Bye.
Thanks, Posh. Thank you, everybody. Good night.